everybody, I hope you're okay. Today I want to talk about my fertility story because I do feel like it would help people, and I do feel like the more people that share and talk about it, the more people won't be feeling as alone. So I want to talk about my fertility story and basically where I am now. So my fertility story, when I was a kid, I really wanted to be a mum. I was always playing with dolls. I couldn't wait to be a mum, really. Obviously, I got to my teenage years and I was quite the opposite. I didn't want to be a mum, so I went on contraception. Never ever had a pregnancy scare. Occasionally I forgot to take my pill, but that just meant a double or a triple drop. I'd end up taking 3 in a row. I don't know if that's legit. I don't think it actually is, but that is how it worked. I had a few boyfriends and never really had a scare. And then I was with someone for 5 years, from the age of 23 to 28, and we were engaged. We never really discussed children. It was something that I thought might just happen in the future, but I had no desire for it. And then we split up when I was 28. And at that stage, when you're 28 and you split up from someone, you think, oh my goodness, my plan to be a mum before I'm 30 won't work. And it's funny because actually 30, I don't know where people get the number from that you need to get pregnant before you're 30, because it's absolutely not right. I know loads of mums that are well over 30, some over 40, that are now pregnant or have children. So you absolutely don't have to be 30. But for some reason, I don't know whether it's the movies or whatever, I really thought, oh God, I'm going to be 30. And part of it was probably I should be wanting children, because some of my friends had settled down and were married and were wanting children, trying for children. Some had children. And there wasn't really a desire for me to do that. And I don't know why, but I think I felt like I should be wanting those things. But anyway, I had a great time being single after splitting up with my ex. We won't talk about that anymore. And then I met Danny literally 6 months later, and straight away we were just together all the time. And we got engaged very quickly. We got engaged after 6 months, and I was one of these people where I knew I wanted to marry him. I knew I wanted to be with him for the rest of my life. And I thought, right, that's it now. I'm going to come off the pill and, let my body just be and get used to kind of having because it can take a while for the pill to come out of your system. Anyway, obviously we were having sex, but we were doing the pull-out method because my friend, which I may have told you, may have heard before, she had 3 children, under 3, and she told me that the pull-out method was effective, and I believed her. Anyway, we booked the wedding. Everything was, hunky-dory. We'd probably start trying for a child straight away. In fact, we did say we'd start trying for a child straight away, because we were both aware that we'd met a bit later. Not too late by any means, but if we wanted a few children, I say a few, Danny will say 2, but I would say more. If we wanted a few children, we wanted to start. So we're getting all ready for the wedding, and I fainted. Anyway, I went to the hospital and they were like, you're pregnant. I thought, oh no, I'm not. I'm getting married. I'm getting married in a few months. They were like, no, you're pregnant. I thought, I can't be. They were like, what do you mean you can't be? I was like, well, we did the pull-out method. Anyway, then obviously one thing led to another, explanations were made that pre-cum actually is still a thing that you can get pregnant by. So that is where we were. So that is our lovely George was born. That wasn't smooth sailing by any means. That I had a low lying placenta with him. Everything was smooth up until about the 20-week scan. And then I found out I had a low lying placenta. And they said most times, 9 out of 10 times, it will move, and it will move around and it will get out the way of your cervix. But if it doesn't, you'll have to have a C-section. Well, I was someone that always worried about birth. Like, literally, I think I had a phobia of birth. Like, it used to come into my head when I wasn't even pregnant. Didn't even have a boyfriend. I probably wasn't even having sex and I'd worry about it. But it used to come into my head and then I used to panic about it. So when they said the word C-section, I thought, great, brilliant. You know, I thought that would be it. Anyway, I kept going for scans and they kept saying, no, it's not moved. And then I started bleeding at around 26 weeks. Actually around my wedding. I had to go into hospital each time. I had something called placenta previa. And every time I bled, it meant that a bigger bleed could come and they would have to get George out straight away. For some reason, as a worrier, I just thought it would be okay. So the more we kept going to the hospital, the more I kept thinking, oh, this is silly. Nothing's happening. I don't need to go into the hospital at all. But I still did. Up to my wedding day, they did say, we don't think you're going to be able to get married. And I thought, well, I've not spent all this money not to get married. Obviously, I want to marry the man of my dreams as well. But, you know, obviously the thought of all that money, like I was just going to lose it as well, was something that worried me. So we did end up getting married, which was lovely. And then after that, the bleeding just continued getting worse and worse and heavier. To the point where I was 33 weeks and I went into hospital for a bigger bleed. Anyway, I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt like blood, you know, like a bit like a period. And I was that tired because I'd not slept the night before because I was waiting for a bed all night at the hospital, that I was thinking I might not get up. I think it'll be, I know what it is, but every time it's been fine. Anyway, something just made me get up. And I got up, I was that tired. I'm surprised I actually woke up from that blood actually. I woke up and my bed was covered with blood and clots. Anyway, I went to the, shouted the nurse in, she came, basically had to do an emergency C-section straight away. George was resuscitated at birth and taken away straight away. So our bond was really pretty much non-existent, if I'm honest, and that was something that I've really struggled with over the last few years, I'd say. It was really hard. So he was born near enough 7 weeks early, and it was very traumatizing. But on to, I don't want to talk about that too much because we're talking about fertility. So on to wanting my next children, we decided when George's 33 hours were coming, I'm sure many parents decide that we just decide, right, now's the time to start trying. And we got pregnant within a couple of months. We weren't trying in the sense like, oh, it's ovulation day, hop on, hop off. Do you know what I mean? It was more of a just doing it more, but, you know, enjoying it. So it wasn't really regimented. At that point, and I got pregnant, and then I found out it was twins, but the twins were in the same sac sharing the same placenta, so it's very high risk, and I had many bleeds during the course of that, and then unfortunately lost the twins at 15 weeks 4 days, and then after that I was just adamant that I wanted to get pregnant as quickly as possible to fill that void almost. I had to give birth to the twins, and I think it really traumatized me. I wasn't right mentally. I really wasn't. I wasn't in a good place at all. And so I wanted to get pregnant again as quickly as possible. I was reading everything. How do we do it? How do we do it? Get it done. Anyway, it didn't happen. And then that was in the August. And then in the December, you know, the months feel like eternities when you're trying for a baby. Every negative test, it's like, yeah, but maybe it's too early, or maybe I can see a line a bit, or maybe we should try in a few days. That is literally what it's like to be someone that is trying for a baby. It is, oh, I can't even explain it. It's like you just high 1 minute, you know, in the sense when you're getting to the point where it's nearly ovulation day, you're excited. Oh, this could be the month, this could be the month. And then after ovulation day, you're analysing every thought, every feeling, every nipple twinge. You're Googling 3 days post-ovulation, 4 days post-ovulation, 5 days post-ovulation, just to see if this could be your month. And then that test time comes where you can take your test. And, you know, you get to the point where you just think, right, okay, I'm going to do the test. And you really think that this month will be your month, you wee on it and it's negative. And then you're like staring at it for ages. Then we're putting lights on it, you know, that black and white filter just to see if we can see a line. Then we're like, no, it's probably a bit early. And anyway, this is the cycle. Then you go through the grief cycle. This is all in 1 month. You go through the grief cycle then, and it's like, I'm absolutely devastated. It's not happened again. What's wrong with me? And all the while you're seeing pregnancy news pop up all over the place. You know, Facebook, friends telling you they're pregnant, and you just want to make sure you're smiling enough. And it is a really, really difficult time. I got pregnant again in the December. And that was fairly quick, really, when I think about it, after the twins, but I lost that at 6 weeks. And then I got pregnant straight on the back of that one and lost that around 5 weeks. So I think that was more of a chemical pregnancy. And then from then, absolutely nothing for over 18 months. Is it 18 months? Yeah, 18 months of nothing. And it was awful. I was in a really, really bad place. I was, as I said in the beginning of this video, I'm totally not OCD. I began to develop OCD tendencies, which is really strange for me. I had really, really bad health anxiety. I think it's all to do with control of my body. Like my body, I'm not in control of my own body. Like I could be growing, oh God, I don't even like to say it. Even now it gets me. I could be growing anything inside my body now and I wouldn't know. And that used to freak me out. Every headache was a brain tumour. Every backache was something else. I was going to be paralysed. I mean, it was ridiculous thoughts. It was almost like there was no cushion between my kind of catastrophic thoughts. There was nothing in between, so I'd get a headache and it wouldn't be like, oh, have you drank enough water? It's almost like a key chart. Have you drank enough water? Have you done this? Have you done that? There was none of that. It was just a straight, oh, I've got a brain tumour. And then I'd start having a panic attack. And it got so bad. I remember counting one day how many panic attacks I had in one day, and I had 10 in a day. I was awake most nights. I was not really, it was awful. I just was not. I don't know. It really makes me sad, actually, thinking back to that time. And I think it was all because I've not dealt with the twins. I was not in a good place mentally. I didn't want to go on pills as easy because last time I went on them after George, I went on citalopram and it made me feel really zombie-like. And I just wanted to try and get this under control myself. I don't know why. I was adamant for it. So what I did then is I, only around recently actually, is I made a few changes. So I went to counselling and I did CBT. It worked a little bit, not completely, but it did help me stop Googling symptoms. And it helped me with my fertility journey, you know, not overthinking anything. Not thinking just because this month I didn't get pregnant doesn't mean I'm never going to get pregnant. These kind of thoughts. And then I also had something called, let me just think of the order I've done things. It's probably easier if I tell you in the order. So I had CBT. I then went to Reiki and acupuncture. That was for fertility and also healing because I had a really bad back, which I think was down to stress. So I did that, continued that. Up until recently actually, and I will be going back soon. I had something called IEMT, which was amazing, actually really amazing. The guy is called Carl Jackson, and he is phenomenal. I knew, as I was thinking of the word, I was thinking, you're not going to be able to say it, don't even bother, but you know what I mean. Phenomenal. Right, forget it. You know what I mean. I can't ever get my words out when I need to. It's really going to annoy me that now. But anyway, he was amazing. So what we did is with IEMT, that works. So you go back in time for all of these kind of traumatic events that have happened in your life, and you do integral eye movement therapy. So you move your eyes in line with the pattern that he gives, and it imprints your mind. So I did that, and honestly, that made me feel amazing. And then on our last session, I think we had 2 sessions. That was it. That's all you need. He's really reasonably priced because he really wants to help people as well. I really recommend him. Google Carl Jackson IEMT and tell him Carla sent you from My Bump to Baby. But anyway, what we did is we did a hypnotherapy on fertility. He said his thoughts were the reason why I wasn't getting pregnant is because I was I've had traumatic events that I've not healed from. So basically my body is subconsciously not allowing me to get pregnant because of everything bad that has happened before. So we did this hypnotherapy. Oh my God. Well, 2 months later, I was pregnant. So, you know, obviously I've done a couple of things. I gave up coffee the month before I got pregnant. And I also got this this drink that it tastes awful. It actually tastes and smells like a pet shop. But I'm going to show you it anyway. 1 second. This was recommended to me by my friend. I was doing her workout plan, and she's called Coach Katie. You can do it online, and it's kind of does a dietary plan. I just wanted to concentrate on something. So I did that. Anyway, she recommended this drink. Took that the month before I got pregnant. She actually said she had quite a lot of clients that were trying to get pregnant that took this and got pregnant. So that actually was really good. Gave up coffee. I was having about 6 coffees a day. I didn't even realise I was having that many coffees. It was awful the first few days. In fact, the first week, I actually was so ill, giving up coffee. My head was pounding. It was so sore. In fact, it's put me off coffee fully. I don't think I'll drink coffee again. I do like the iced ones occasionally as a bit of a treat, but other than that, it's really put me off. So I went on her plan, which was low carb, fairly low carbs, not too low carb that it's not copeable, but really fresh food and all of that. So I made quite a few adjustments, and now I'm sat here, very lucky to be, but I'm 15 weeks pregnant. And I'm also aware that that could be a really sensitive subject, but I just wanted to share how I got pregnant. And I also had a fertility appointment booked, actually, very weirdly, in the next couple of weeks. And I ended up not going because I was pregnant. So yeah, in the last month, I suppose we kind of, because we had the fertility appointment coming up, we kind of not gave up, but we didn't even know we were doing it on the ovulation day. We just did it. And that's what happened. So there's been a few things that I really think contributed to this pregnancy. And I'm hoping that the pregnancy can continue, and, you know, this will be a rainbow baby. But what I wanted to do is I did want to pop on here and share a bit more about my fertility story, and how, where I am now, and the changes that I made. I'm not saying they're going to work for everyone, but they might work. And also just how hard it is, and how much I understand how hard it is going through that journey. It's something that I never want to forget, because I never want to almost forget about those people that are going through that every day. God, I could cry. Honestly, it really makes me sad. Like, thinking back, I've got pictures of me with just crying in my bed. Every time I get a negative pregnancy test, or every time someone, you know, very close to you says they're pregnant, it's heartbreaking. And it really is. And you feel like such a bad friend or a bad family member, because you're so upset that it's happened to them and it can't happen to you. And it's not that you're not happy for them, because you are, and you do want them to have the baby. It's not anything like that. It's just jealousy. I mean, it's just like you just want to be able to be in the position they're in, and something that should be, you think it should be simple, isn't. But what I would say is, don't give up. 18 months of trying. I know some people have been trying a lot longer than that, but I was trying for 18 months. And, you know, some changes I made. It could be just coincidence. It might be because mentally I felt a lot better. After giving up the coffee, mentally I felt a lot better. After starting this drink, mentally I felt a lot better. It could be down to all of that. I'm not saying one thing definitely worked, one thing didn't, but what I will say is I really do think that it's important to share your fertility story with other people, and hopefully if this helps someone or gives someone a bit of hope, then that's what I've been through is worth it to me. So thank you very much for listening.